Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. I'm Prismal, and today we're back with some more Hades, because I kind of feel like playing it. Now, I've got lots of stuff I can unlock, so we should probably try and, like, do that first, I guess?
Malphon, I see you overcome the wild and make peace with death. The hidden aspect of an ancient god king.
We now have Gilgamesh. Very nice. And I just double check, have we got any others that we can do?
Stygius,
yep.
I see your kingly pardon from a prison of stone.
We have Arthur. That's 50 more life total. 1 more damage reduction. Mine is kind of cool and interesting.
Just watch the bridge with that, okay?
Already been revealed.
Aegis, I see you stand your ground against the serpent's flame.
And Beowulf. 10% more damage. Ooh. I always forget what this stuff, like, does, right? Okay, so we've got no others. Well, anyway, we're taking the shield. Going this way, we are taking... To start off with... The Zeus one is always good, but the Zeus shield, and... yeah. We gotta try and do stage 5. Because we failed it last time.
Bounties this way, but why not?
Anyway, how are we all doing? I am doing alright. I am in a good mood for once, rather than having think you know what I want to moan, but special deals 3 damage to foes when you catch it. Attack twice, but no knockback. I'll do the dashing wallop, because at least what that will do is mean I can actually have something else, and we can take something off the list of minor prophecies, right? Main thing is trying to, like, complete all the small stuff around and that. At least I would like to be able to kind of, like, do all that stuff. Although, I'm probably recording this a little bit later, and it might go up later than planned, because I lost track of time. I'm not going to deny that. I want the Zeus boom. I can get the Zeus booms later. Like, you know, I like my bro Dionysus, man. I can't help it. He's my bro. But, yeah, I kind of... I got a bit of an obsession thing with an idea for a Dungeons & Dragons kind of like side campaign.
It's me, Zag. Hey, I know you haven't got a lot of time to listen to me prattle on like this, and so I'm cutting to the chase here. Look.
Hangover, ooh, special. Yeah, I'll take that actually. So I kind of like the idea on that. So, what kind of I come up with, and you know, hang on a minute, like, you know, kind of like, hang on a minute, what are you talking about? So, I saw a short of some guy talking about, like, you know, oh yeah, like he wants to play as a mimic, right? And like, mimics can't take human form, so how would that work, and so on and so forth. And I was like, actually, one, that sounds kind of cool. And second, like, how could you get it to work? Right? So in D&D, there are weird things always happen and stuff, and one of the ones is the fact that a mimic can actually turn into any object, and unalive bodies are technically objects.
Something is the matter, son of Hades. Speak then. What is on your mind? I can decipher some of it without your telling, but would rather hear it from you voluntarily.
Master Chaos, the goddess Nyx, she seems to want to speak with you again. I wonder, would you maybe contact her sometime? She seems convinced it is your move to make if you so choose.
The goddess Nyx wishes to hear from me. Now that is unexpected, son of Hades, and I wonder if perhaps this is a jest of yours. Though your intentions evidently are sincere, then I shall make no promises in this, except that I am considering the possibility.
Oh yeah. Dash range and I get more rewards. Yeah, why not? We'll take that.
An acceptable decision.
So, with the fact that essentially, that you can get a mimic to do that. Yeah. In theory, I could then, say, you know, what would happen if, like, someone cast, like, a resurrection onto that, unalive body as such? No, we'll go this way. I mean, I could go that way, but, you know, worry about that later. Like, what would happen? Because as per the spell's description, like, most of the rules still apply with it, except the idea that technically the unalive body is, you know, actually alive, even though it's being mimicked in that state. So, like, there are some, like, DM finaglings and stuff that you could argue on it. Now, what I was thinking with this whole thing is the fact that, say, we've got something really cool happening on this idea. So say someone does cast the resurrection magic on it, and it does work. So the soul of the person that supposedly it is a copy of would be then put into that, and then it would be healed and restored to a full person. Except there's still a mimic. Right?
It is my solemn wish, dear Zagreus, that eventually we settle up our differences with your Lord Father. But for now, we fight.
Should I just take the Thunder Dash? Why not?
Shocking. Where to? Come on, you knuckleheads.
So, kind of with, like, that premise in mind, I come up with this idea of, like, a sort of small town, and the Lord kind of, like, loses their wife. Their wife used to be, like, an ex-adventurer, which they settled down. They kind of founded the town and stuff, and obviously she's still out trying to, you know, defend the area from, you know, monsters and all that jazz. And obviously she ends up losing her life, at which point the Lord then basically somehow, no idea how, gets her body back and then resurrects her. But it's not her, but it is her, right? It's just, like, it's the mimic and her at the same time. And then you've got this kind of, like, Jekyll and Hyde situation, right?
Shattered that. Olympus.
Where she doesn't know that she's a mimic. Oh no, we'll just take that when we peer pressure. It's so good. Especially what we're doing. So she doesn't know she's a mimic, and then, like, the mimic still does mimic things, and yeah, then you kind of, like, got people going missing, everything else as well, and say the Lord then suddenly goes missing, and then she employs the adventuring party to help solve the mystery of why people are going missing, and most likely trying to find out where the Lord has gone, right? And then, yeah, you go, like, basically have loads of different choices going from there. And I was thinking, like, setting up a character stat block on, like, you know, what her class and stuff were, and based upon what you do, I was thinking of going for a kind of, like, multi-class paladin for her. Which would have been kind of interesting, as what this would mean is, I haven't, like, completely figured the last bit out, but I wanted to make a scenario on essentially what will happen is she will either basically end up, like, fighting the party as a paladin if stuff goes badly, or she'll fight them as an Oathbreaker paladin, which will be let's say a bit more monstrous. They'll end up fighting the Mimic, which could be even more of a problem. Or if they fail everything, I might have a new big bad evil boss. You know, and there's, like, many different outcomes. So I'm thinking, like, will she accept the fact that she's a mimic and a monster now? Will she not? Like, how will that function? Like, there's so many cool things about it on the idea I want to mess around with. And I think it's going to be, like, a really interesting type of, like, murder mystery campaign to solve. Where there isn't much fighting, but there's, like, loads of different things. And I'm thinking, like, of eluding loads of little ideas on kind of like, they're looking around the place, but they keep finding, you know, like all this information that kind of alludes to the idea of like a necromancer or something in town and stuff, but it's all just like red herrings. It's like none of it is actually genuinely like the answer, and they got to decipher like certain bits of information from like other bits. So it could be like although she wasn't really like fighting the mimic because she didn't know it exists, like there could be a thing where the mimic was only really taking care of evil people when she was out defending the town and the village and the town and stuff. So it still was like a part of her was there, but over time it's slowly getting worse and worse, hence why it got to the point where eventually it took away stuff. And then like having this idea like mimics kind of only really take and treasure things that they really generally like, you know, kind of care about and stuff. But there's many ways you can go with it, and I'm really kind of looking forward to kind of setting this up.
How is Hell treating you today?
Attacks inflicts doom, impervious blade. Yeah, my cast do that as well, why not?
Pleasure doing business.
Special is faster. I mean, the dash recovering 50% of my life is kind of useful as well if I take hits, so I can't really turn that down.
Time to face the future.
But yeah, I'm messing around with it at the moment, and
Think I know what you're going to say.
Murder? Murder.
sorry, I just had to take a drink. But yeah, I'm kind of like really looking forward to ouch. They've created the Beyblade build. But I'm kind of looking forward to doing this as an idea, right? And like what that might mean for the village, the town, the town, not the village. And a bunch of other things as well, right? It's kind of like really hyping this idea in mind up as a little bit of a side campaign for like a main story or something where they come across, and keeping most of the stuff really interesting. You know, when people get sidetracked, they get sidetracked, and I like having stuff around to like just throw at them. You're like, here, deal with this.
Don't mind me, Father. Keepsakes hold power.
Let's take the Dionysus one now, why not? Ooh, fishing point guaranteed, let's go. So I'm kind of, yeah, really thinking about that back in mind of like what I can do. Is there so much more I can do with it? Is there other things I can do with it as well? And also kind of like the character development of both the Lady Adventurer. I'd settled on a woman because I thought it was more interesting, both on the thematic and also kind of like a reasoning thing, right? So having her be like the adventurer that settles down and then helps defend the village or defend the town is more interesting than it being a bloke in this case, just because of the fact that the bloke's going to have the resources to resurrect her in the sense, and also would also have the power in most medieval fantasy. So it's kind of like, this makes it more interesting that kind of like, you know, essentially she falls in love with him and then kind of like not abandons the lifestyle but uses it for like the purpose of like setting and like improving the territory and stuff like that. You know, go for that more fantasy-esque vibe and stuff. And then, like, the argument then is, like, technically, is this sort of, like, mimic her still her, even though it has her soul in it and stuff from the resurrection spell? You know, or is it still technically a monster? Like, you got all this massive debate on it. It's going to be brilliant. And to be honest, this is pretty much, like, how I get, like, a lot of my,
Okay.
random kind of campaign ideas and stuff for like particular things that like pop up. It's like someone will say something and then my mind goes, hang on a minute, how does that work with this? What can I do here? You know? I really have just got like lots of Beyblades, don't I? My shield is a Beyblade. I can shoot Beyblades. Only if I might dodge shot more Beyblades with having more Beyblades everywhere.
Lord Dionysus.
Attacks inflict hangover. Ooh, bonus damage using fountains. Seems great. We'll take that.
Feeling good.
Do I want gold here? I think I'll just go for another boon. Why not?
Steady now.
So yeah, I'm kind of interested in setting that up and designing the town and stuff for it to fit in.
Your presence here. How about another of our little contests, Zagreus? Who wants to be the first to die again?
Not me.
So I am on the idea of wanting to get this thing to work, right?
You're slowing down. Seriously, Zach?
So it's going to be interesting on like how I set it up, how I get the multiple kind of like ending stuff to work and all that jazz. Cool.
He's back.
All right.
How'd the news you broke your streak of victories of late, boss? Happens, right? You seem the sort to bounce right back, though. Let me help with that.
Yeah, thanks. I did actually lose.
Save some for me next time.
Become sturdy, movement speed, regen faster. I'll just take that. Becoming sturdy is kind of cool.
Here goes.
Gotta go.
But yeah, anyway, that has taken up a lot of my afternoon when I got home, to be honest. Probably a little bit more than it should have done as well. But I like the premise of it, right? And like doing this whole Jekyll and Hyde thing, I think is really cool with it.
Get up, witches.
As for how it's going to come across, I got to make sure I play it in a good way, because there's nothing worse than like a bait and switch like that and you see it coming, right? And I kind of want to make it in that sort of like murder mystery type style where it's like they don't really know what's going on, but like there's something that definitely isn't right.
Let's do this again sometime, alright?
Restore threshold. Interesting. No, we'll just take this and gain the life. My attacks inflicting hangover would be nice, but like I'm really only focusing on the special here. So yeah, I'm in the process at the moment of like developing our main antagonist, I guess you would call her at this point. And like developing like different stat blocks and stuff and abilities and listings and stuff for all the different types of encounters I want to pull off. And then kind of like I gotta create a few different NPCs for like the town as well, for like, you know, people that have already lost loved ones and those sort of things, people that are just too scared to do anything because people are going missing, and also kind of like the discourse on like why this was not done sooner, considering the fact that a lot of other people have gone missing, and why is it only happening now that the Lord's gone missing that they're pulling in an adventuring party. And like it could be a thing where like the job's been up for ages but no one's been wanting to deal with it because it was just, you know, class system stuff. No. It's like, I am not helping, there's only filthy peasants. You know, that sort of stuff and things. Like, we're throwing a lot of that out there, even though technically the lady is a peasant herself. Right? No, 10. Can't do that. I think we just keep going for levels here. Get more poison on my abilities. That would be delightful.
Come on.
So yeah, there's a bunch of political stuff going on. I think the idea of like identity is going to be really cool for this as well. Taking it as part of the theme for the sort of the actual thing is like, who we are because of who we are, or is it because of the choices we make kind of type scenario, right? And I think it'd be a great campaign to shove against a bunch of murder hobos. Not that I've ever had to deal with them. I will admit that. Not that I've ever had to deal with them. But I have ways. I have ways. I have plans for people that don't want to play the game properly. Not evil ones. Just thematic ones. Oh yeah, this thing just chases me now. This is hilarious. Because the speed boost, I can actually outrun it.
Good enough to eat.
Yeah, just increasing that seems like a great idea. More hangover, more hangover. Go shop here, because we've got the stuff to buy another boon. And we can get a level up. Nice.
Yes.
Attacks inflict lightning. I will take that. That can be something useful.
I'll pay for that.
My special inflicting more hangover damage. Yeah. Could have gotten the jolt, but you know, I don't have enough ways to inflict lightning.
Whatever time it is, Lenny.
You are the minion generator. Now, I think there is a thing that allows me to, set it up so, like, I can, I think, like, get them to be take more poison damage. Like, I can stack it up to 10. I don't know, though. I think I remember it, like, at one point. You know me, I forget a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's gonna be like, a main project of mine is getting the thing actually sorted out, right? I've got this idea now in my head, and I've got to, like, kind of get it out there. As such. And we'll have to see if I can get it to work in a way that I think is going to be natural as well. So, like, how I introduce it, where will I introduce it into these places and stuff, right? That's kind of like the bigger things I'm discussing a lot with myself and figuring a bunch of stuff out with it.
Enjoy your magma bath. Good.
I do have quite a lot of these kind of like side campaigns off that I end up creating. I think I've got my parasitic tree one, which is always quite interesting. I do like that one. And then, which gives a nice moral dilemma. I think that one came about from an idea when watching Shield Hero, I think. Yeah. Which is like the plant monster type thing. Like, it came about because of that idea, and I was like, actually, that could be really good for a D&D campaign. And I think, like, we should really start, like, thinking that a little bit more, right? Let's just take this for now. More levels up is gonna be good. It's like, there's so many things that we can use and, like, to make, like, good D&D campaigns or stuff, and, like, even, like, mini ones and side bits and stuff, where it's like, sometimes you just need to let your players kind of do what they want, and then you know, have like repercussions for them because of it. I will kind of do this a lot, where it's like, there's only so many times I will allow the players to get distracted for free, and then I start the timer. And all it'll be is like every time they get distracted and completing the side mission, like other stuff around the world is still happening. Like stuff doesn't stop just because they got occupied or preoccupied with something else. So it might be like, you know, the big bag evil guy's plan moves up a stage, or, you know, they miss out on an important event which would have gave them answers to like specific other questions or things like that, right?
Got some zest.
Like it's kind of important to kind of distinguish a lot of this stuff and be like, look, I understand you want to continue with random things, and sometimes the random things are fun and entertaining, but there's only so many times I can let you guys do it, and, you know, the world doesn't stop just because you want it to. So I have used that a couple of times. Never really gone that far, but they do find out about it pretty soon that, you know, the world doesn't stop for them as such. You know, I think, like, on one of them I had a giant war going on. That was fun. Yeah. And because, like, the adventurers didn't want to help out in the war and stuff, like, the main people lost. Or at least, like, a treaty was signed, at which point they didn't have any favors to pull because of, like, they weren't there in the fights and stuff, so people don't look at them favorably, which makes, like, a lot of the persuasion stuff, like, really difficult for them to get, like, answers or help in, like, their quests. Is it unfair? Maybe. After special does damage when you catch it. Bull rush does damage to armor. I'll take that, because armor can be a problem.
Never been a finer shield.
Oh, this is great. Double boomy.
Time to pick sides.
Ah, 50% more damage. Yeah, I'll take that.
This is outrageous, Agrius. Even your father would agree that actions such as that can't go unpunished.
So I will probably be spending my Saturday pretty much just setting that up, right?
I guess.
It's gonna be cool, right? Like I'm not saying like it's gonna be a great campaign of stuff like the side stuff, or what I'm doing is fair, or things like, it's just kind of like my style. I like to give players freedom to do whatever they want, but at the same time it's kind of like, you get freedom, but there will be consequences. Right? You can't just keep getting away with doing whatever you feel like it because you get easy distracted. Sometimes they do get easy distracted because they know that I've like set aside side campaigns. I think in total...
That is quite enough. That's quite enough, I say. You're still alive, aren't you?
Sorry, Zeus thing. Yeah, the jolt seems pretty good. Descending there. Yeah, why not? No, something could really muck me up, actually. Let's go health here. Well, no, money. For the shop. But yeah, I'm in the category of, like, having lots of, like, backup stuff just to allow the things to happen, right? I will admit, though, it's sometimes kind of difficult because you want to set up, like, really cool campaigns and cool set pieces, and, like, my main stuff, like, I will never tell, like, the main stuff I do on here because I'm still using them at the moment, like, the main campaigns, but if you think, like, how much effort I put into these side campaigns, there's, like, a telltale sign of just, like, and what I end up coming up with, like, entire, like, actual campaigns. It's gonna be hilarious.
My next opponent has arrived in short order.
Short order? That was another jab about my height, wasn't it?
I do not jab. All of my strength goes into every strike. Observe.
So yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to messing around with that as an idea, along with all the other ones as well and things. Between that and like using other monsters as well. It's kind of always more interesting, I think, most of the time, right?
I think not.
Because sometimes, like, organized monster groups can be more annoying if you give them, like, a commander and stuff. So I use that a lot to kind of help out with, like, challenge rating and stuff for, like, early game. Where if you want, like, a difficult challenge, but you don't want to really overwhelm a party, having more weaker monsters with other monsters working in tandem can really kind of up the CR rating of encounters without them being overly difficult.
Got him again.
But then a sudden scourge of war would help you out of your predicament. Why, I would stir one up for you without a second thought.
Hmm. Yeah, the Death Defiance could be interesting. Or just the wider area, because that's kind of cool. Look how big that is now. It's huge! But yeah, I mean, as like, setting stuff up in storylines, I like messing around with the idea of them. Like, this one probably won't be anything, like, overly drastic, but it still will be interesting enough where I think I can play with more themes and thematics with this one more than I can with, like, others and stuff. And really let, like, player choice, like, hang in the moment. Where either what this will end up doing is almost becoming part of, like, the whole evil villain arc as well, which is going to be so good if it does. The problem is I got to see if I can make sure that my, the lady of the land is charismatic enough to be able to pull that off, right? And also, like, is it worth her having her own character arc and stuff? Because I will say, I think 100% within this, like, particular encounter, I don't think there can be a really, like, good ending to the entire thing. Right? Like, that is the main thing that I've got to kind of, like, figure out, is, like, can I create an ending where it feels natural to have a good ending, right? And to what I can think of, no is the answer to that. Which is very annoying, because I would like to have a good ending in some ways, because I feel like it kind of, if there's any bad endings, it diminishes the player choice a little bit. But in this particular one, I don't think I can. But I think I can have, like, a better ending than more than anything else, right? So, like, there isn't, like, a good ending, but there'll be, like, a somewhat redemption ending, I think, is the way to go about it, right? And then I got the whole idea of, like, what do I do with the Lord of the Land as such, like, are they actually dead? Are they not? These are the questions I'll ask myself, and then I will have to put it down to player choice on if that has already happened or not. That is an interesting debate in my head, isn't it, as well? I'll have to look at the, ecology of monsters a little bit as well, I think, is something I'll have to look into. Right? you know, like, what are the characteristics of a mimic other than the fact that it does that? Like, is it protecting stuff? Does it want to protect things? Is that the reason why they always kind of, like, put treasures inside themselves? Like, you know, why they also, like, turn into things that normally contain treasure and stuff? Like, that could be an interesting debate on the monster side as well. Oh, that could be so good. I've just thought of other things as well I could do with that now. I could make it so the mimic can have its own sentience because of the whole thing that happened, and it has its own personality, and like, it doesn't want to die either, but it can't help itself. Oh, that'd be so good. And then you got to distinguish, like, is that actually the monster or is it her? Oh, that could be a gut-wrenching decision. This is why, like, the main character has, like, she has to be charismatic enough to be able to pull this stuff off, right? If she doesn't, like, the whole decision doesn't hold weight in, like, making the choices. Like, why would characters care if it's a hard decision if they don't already like her?
Over there.
So I gotta figure out how I'm gonna do that and sort of, like, implant that idea into their heads. Like, she's cool, she's really, like, interesting and stuff.
Should help keep me going.
Oh, that's good. Bonus restoration, I'll take that. These are the little things that you end up really thinking about. I think it's just in writing in general.
Rematch.
No matter how you try, you cannot shake the bond we share, monster. Move, Asterius! Bullhorn!
So yeah, I'm kind of on the, I'm on the idea that I can get this to work really well, and I like the idea of it. I probably would say this might be one of the better side campaigns that I'm coming up with. But I think it's also going to have the issue of, like, am I trying to do too much with it? Because there were other ideas I wanted to mess around with, and I was like, actually, no, that might be a little bit too much. Like, deciding on her class, for instance, was a particular thing.
See that, bullman?
Is he just charge indefinitely here? No. Cool. But yeah, I will probably end up stealing, like, traits and characters, like, stuff from, like, other places just to try and make her seem more grounded and also entertaining.
Soldier applause. To my greatest fan.
Go tend to the Sata problem for a change.
Do we take this? I mean, I would just be using a Death Defiance for it. Maybe we can do something more interesting. I don't have an aid, do I? Let's go. Let's do that, shall we?
I'm out of here.
If I don't have my God Gauge, we'll do something more interesting against Hades himself.
Gods grant me a swift Sata sack.
Yeah, please do. It'd be a lot better for me. Nothing I can buy yet.
Which tunnel?
Go here. Then we'll see what we can get. But yeah, I'm liking the idea of it more and more. The more I kind of play it. In my head, like, thinking on like the campaign, the routes and stuff that you can go, and all sorts of other things. Like, it's going to be like pretty cool. And I think like I can set it up so it's actually kind of like done in a nice way as well, and like there's proper resolution for all the characters and stuff. I think that's one of the bigger things, like, is can you resolve everything in a way that feels complete? And I think that's the word that I say, I think about it quite a lot when doing all these designs and stuff, is it's not about a good resolution or stuff feeling like, you know, like stuff ending in a good way. It's just, does stuff end in the right way for the circumstances told, right? Because, like, you can have stuff round out and feel complete as a story and a design without necessarily needing them to, like, without the need for, like, stuff to end on a good note, right? Pick that up.
Get out of here.
A vicious cycle. Nice. I was hoping to get off Dionysus at some point, but I guess we're not going to.
Always a pleasure, Charon.
Make them move slower. Yes, please. Guess we'll go money now. We have the Beyblade build, so... Wow, my screen is so full of stuff spinning, it's hilarious in this. I didn't even try to go for this sort of build, but it just happened this way. Save the money. I mean, what else could I do with that? Like, I'm thinking in my head now, just on, like, how I kind of want the village design layout and stuff, and 2 mini-bosses, interesting. You know? Like, these are the things I will think about. Min-maxing the design and stuff and just being like, what is the best course of action for me to get this set up, right? Man, those blades do a lot. They really stack up damage now.
Should fetch me something.
Now I'm going to try and find where the Satyr Sack is, because we got through the 2 mini-bosses and didn't get it.
That's quite a stash there, Charon.
Lightning strikes, peer pressure. 34 seconds. Or increase the damage just in general when they get 3 or more. Guess we'll go with a level up then. Because I am now thinking of just like all sorts of stuff I can do in this and what I can throw in, what I can kind of like, okay, maybe that's a little bit too much. Right? Like what feels more concise for the whole thing. It's kind of interesting, isn't it? Like I've now become like borderline obsessed with this. Like just from like a small little thing, and now my brain is now gonna like probably, yeah, as I said, like spend the entire weekend just focusing on this one idea now. Like laser focus until I get it done. It's great when you guys group together. It makes it so much easier for me to wipe you all out. Oh, not so great now. Cool. But I am kind of interested on like what reactions would be to that sort of almost like I don't know if I want to do like a whole as a bait and switch type thing. I think it should be able to be figured out, because I hate surprise endings and differences anyway. And if the players can't figure out the issue that's at hand, like overall, then it's not really very good.
You shall become unseen.
It's kind of funny. I'm thinking now, like, is there anything else? I think like 10% more, and that does 10% more, so... I know one is all damage and stuff, but... One use. Don't know why I bought it, but... It was a waste of money, but I feel like I'm not going to get anything else.
Thank you, mate.
Guess going life here. Will we do them all, or will we be able to finish the game? Part of me's now got like an incomplete version of the Beyblade theme music from like the anime from like, yeah. It's just going on in my head. Oh well. Yeah, I am kind of interested in like how I'm gonna get all that to work and stuff, right? Like, because to me that's the most important thing. If I get it all to function as the way I want it to, is that gonna be a good idea?
Now for a chat.
I can fish, I can fish, I can fish. Where's the fish? Where's the fish? Fish, 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 fish.
Right there. That's one more fish for me.
But yeah, I do like the duality of like a sort of like...
Cerberus moves for no one, but for Satasax, he can make an exception.
Yeah, like, as I say, I like the duality of like what's going to happen and stuff on that kind of idea, and like what's good, what's bad, what's the right thing to do, what isn't the right thing to do, what's the best course of action, is there a way to kind of resolve it peacefully in a way. And part of me thinks like there can never be a peaceful solution, but I think there's a
Looks like the realm needs some adjustment still.
a redemption in a way for what's happened and stuff.
You bear the sigil of the dead. I wear the helm of darkness. Even devoid of artifacts as these, we fight here without witnesses, in shadow.
If only everybody knew you had a mighty son most capable of cutting you down to size, with or without the ability to vanish suddenly.
A very boastful son, who often thinks too much of his ability. Come then, I'll make you vanish suddenly.
Oh, come on, the inflection on that. Could have seen like, I'll make you vanish suddenly. Ooh, we've got some interesting lag spikes on this. Really? I will say though, having the rift stuff just like continue being like as it is hilarious to me. Like I wish I got more rift stuff because I got the perfect run for it. As such.
Father! What?
Oh well. You know, don't be a spoiled child. Be happy with what you've got and received. But that thing, good amount of Monster Hunter at the moment, and I'm absolutely loving it. Oh, and here was the thing, right? I saw the guy from Second Wind put a review out of Avowed, and I was reading through it and like watching it, and I was actually kind of entertained because although like they kind of agree with the statements of like, you know, pretty much like kind of like what I've been kind of saying, right, is it doesn't help like right at the moment in the games industry. Like we've been having some really good games, some really good comebacks of just like really good stuff, right? Things that the game industry probably should emulate overall and like take on and be like, you should learn from this and develop your own ideas based upon this bit of information, right? Like we all know that's like 100% of the fact. The issue is like not every game is going to be like that, and even though they are from like big studios, they're still going to have hits and misses where like it's not a game for everyone, but it can still be a game. And like most of the public masses don't genuinely care.
There. We're not finished.
Right? Like they generally just don't really care like if a game is good or bad based upon the gamer's review. They just care if they have fun. Like there are games out there I would say like, despite what people think and people moan about, like the game is still fun. It's entertaining enough for you to play. Like it might not have the greatest graphics or stuff like that, or there might be issues with some random bit of political messaging or stuff like that. Like not denying it, withstanding, but the game can still be okay and entertaining and good and it's the purpose it was designed for, right? Oh, that's got on the right spot there. I got hit by that twice, that's so unfair. And I think like that's the bit that kind of I was kind of like, hang on a minute, and then I was just like, someone else kind of like said it, and I was like, ah, I feel validated. Like everyone moaned about it in like particular different ways, and I was like, really? Like I get it, it's not perfect, but a game can be okay. Like we're allowed to have mediocre games. Not everything has to be, or can be, a blockbuster hit, right? I think a good example was the fact that if something doesn't fail, you don't learn from it, right? So if you don't fail, the whole thing stagnates from the get-go. That took longer than expected, but, you know, I'm not going to complain.
Boy, you speak none of this to anyone.
Yes, Father.
Blast.
See you at home. In the name of Hades.
That was pretty fun. I enjoyed that. Lots of spinny things.
Found you.
I am happy with that.
So joyfully did Zagreus attempt to gain the surface that why he just rose too quickly. And we know how that one goes from Icarus's tale. What?
I didn't realize Icarus had a tail. Sorry, dad joke.
Not bad at all, really.
I'm not even a dad, and dad jokes are so funny to me.
Thought I had.
You're such a good boy, aren't you, Cerberus? Yes, you are. Guarded the place while I was out, and even let my son come visit me.
I know. He's a good boy.
The ever-vigilant and terrifying Cerberus merely accepts the praise.
Be certain that you take appropriate precautions with the sigil of the dead that you now bear. Should some misfortune come to it through negligence, it cannot be replaced.
Can't imagine what I'd do without your blessing, Father. But thank you again. I don't often inherit fate-appointed honors, and will take good care of it. Though, what if the Olympians catch on? Wouldn't do for everybody knowing that you're aiding me, even a little, right?
Correct. It would not do at all. Fortunately, the power of the unseen can remain well hidden as it pleases. What is it your instructor always says?
Fear is for the weak.
Indeed.
Oh, that's pretty good.
What's going on with Charon, by the way, if you can tell me, Than? He's never been particularly talkative, but he really seems to know the inner workings of this place.
We ain't trolls
I
everywhere.
correspond with Charon all the time, but even I don't know the full extent of his responsibilities. He's an independent contractor of sorts, been here forever. Your father gives him plenty of space to work.
He must be compensated pretty well for having done this for so long, tending the influx of new souls and all of that.
I doubt he's in it for the compensation, Zagreus. There is no underworld without Charon. I think he knows that, and your father knows it too.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, that is kind of the main thing, right?
A word, child. Child, I know not exactly what you did, but I detected faintly an attempt by Chaos to reach out to me. A message merely at the edges of my consciousness, yet I felt certain it was there. But I could not discern it otherwise. What does Chaos want from me?
I think Chaos wishes to re-establish contact with you, Nyx. The two of you drifted apart from one another, so I think I can imagine. I lost touch with Thanatos a while, but that was nothing in comparison to this. Isn't this some way you can reconnect?
Now that the house is strong and this realm orderly, I do not know. But I shall think upon it, child. Leave me, please.
Very well. I want to talk, get the story out.
Say, Dusa, in your work around the house, you wouldn't happen to have run into a Skelly character out in the courtyard there, have you?
Oh, not really, because my work is in the house itself, and well, the courtyard technically, it's kind of right outside, so I'm supposed to stay inside the walls, but I think I know who you mean. I've seen him, standing there just past your chamber doors. Why? Is he okay?
I think so. I hope so.
Let's do this.
I got you more ambrosia, Dusa, and I hope this is okay. I figure maybe you could use this for the lounge, special events, guests, that sort of thing.
I'm sorry that I flew away last time you brought me something like this, Prince. I mean, Zagreus. It's really strange for me to call you that. When I started here, they told me not to even speak with you, and now, here we are.
Well, look, if I listened to everything I was told, my life would be a lot different and a lot worse off, I think. So, who cares what anybody says? I enjoy your company.
And I enjoy yours, too. It wasn't long ago that I was just a lonely Gorgon head all by myself in the big underworld, looking for steady work. And then I heard about the opening here in your father's house. Well, I got it. It seemed too good to be real, and then there was you.
I remember when we first met. You were carrying 3 bowls for Cerberus and bumped right into me. It all went flying, but you cleaned up half of it before it hit the ground. and flew away before I got your name. I thought I'd never see you again.
I was so embarrassed. Worse, I thought I was done for here. But I got another chance. That was your doing, wasn't it? You've been looking out for me all this time. That's so sweet of you. I don't know how to thank you. I better put this in Persia away for safekeeping, okay?
See you, Dusa.
Ah, good old Dusa. She is adorable.
There you go. I'll take the nectar.
There we go. You can sell the keys at least, get more nectar. Don't need keys for anything else. And let's trade these
Here's
in.
the catch of the day.
Ooh, 3. He gave me a key. There we go. Now, I have enough darkness, right? Yes, I do. We still got another level on that. I don't know, is that infinite? Can I just keep going with that? Just get more and more darkness until we can't do it anymore?
Skelly.
That'll be fairly interesting. But yeah. There we go, another run down.
Another day in Tartarus. Or night. I have no idea.
But yeah, again, if you do enjoy these videos, do leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.